service. So when he cooks or do that, clean, I go, oh, honey, thank you for washing the dish.
So many times you think that the touch can only happen during the sexual act and the union between that husband and wife. But the touch could be in the small thing, many boxes. But you never know what's inside until you do what?
Open it.
Open it. All right, and then hold up this, and you'll see that there are other boxes are inside. And men, we need to be romantic. Keep it real.
Well, welcome to Keep It Real. I am your host, Dr. Keithroll, aka Dr. K, and we are so glad that you have joined us for another exciting episode. We want to thank our sponsor, and we'll see our sponsorship. Their slide will be put up momentarily. None others than Pastors Dr. Felix and Chinaye. And they are pastors of Trim Church. They were guests on here, and boy, did they rock you. And their brand is Power in the Word, and they're located in Houston. There's their website up there, as well as their phone number. And for 2 months, thank you, Pastor Felix, my younger brother from another mother, and also an entrepreneur, as well as a pastor bivocational, and he gave us how you can do both. And so today we have as our guest Brian Bartholomew. Brian is a business owner, entrepreneur. He's also a real estate investor, seller, as well as father and husband. And if you can just put up his bio so that the people can see that he is credentialed, he is a professional. There he is. Boy, that handsome young man. He has on glasses here in the studio today. But professional credential realtor. He's certified, accredited, and specialist. And so, Brian, welcome to Keep It Real.
Thank you so much, Dr. K. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate that amazing introduction. And you put a lot of pressure on me today to match all those wonderful things you've said.
Well, you will live up to all the things that's in your bio. Well, tell us about your family of origin. The Bartholomew, is that a Caribbean name? I know you're from I wanted to say Bahamas. I'm from the Bahamas. By the way, before you answer that, let me just tell all of the listening audience, for my 67th birthday, we got away to Bimini, Bahamas, 4 days, 3 nights at a 5-star resort. Well, not a 5-star, because a 5-star is when you have your robe and slippers in the room. But if you were on the first floor, you could just step out and get into the pool. Beautiful white beaches. We ate fried red snapper, conch, salad.
You're making me hungry.
And you're from the Caribbean, so tell us about your family of origin, where you hail, a little bit about your family, and then how you got started in real estate.
Wow, great question. First of all, my parents are from Trinidad and Tobago, and that island is known for Carnival. And I don't know if you've experienced Carnival, but it's very festive. The people, the culture, the foods, as you were describing, absolutely amazing. So then I lived in Grenada. But one of your questions you just asked was the Bartholomew name. Actually, Bartholomew is a British name. So Grenada and Trinidad were those two countries were British colonies. So hence, that's where the heritage has come from. However, those colonies have their own culture. And as you know, being from the Bahamas, the island culture, the festive kind of a mode, the people are very progressive. They're intelligent, talented, and a lot of great things come from that region.
Now, what was it like growing up there in Trinidad, then going to South America and Grenada?
Well, actually, my parents are from Trinidad, but I was born in Brooklyn. As you know, many people migrate from the Caribbean to come to the States for a better opportunity, living, education, etc. And while my parents were here, I was in Grenada because my family, despite being from Trinidad, have my dad on my dad's side has his mom and his great aunts, etc., in Grenada. So I got to spend my formative years, basically from like 2 to about 10, in Grenada. My dad still lives there in Grenada right now.
Do you visit there frequently?
Oh, absolutely, especially as, he's getting up there in age. We joke about that. He's almost 80 now. And so I went as recent as last year.
Well, you are a husband to Angelique. She's also an entrepreneur. Does she help out with the real estate business?
Oh, she helps out in every capacity. Having 5 kids, married 23 years, there's a lot, and really we work hand in hand together. Sometimes that could be a little stressful, but at the end of the day, it takes teamwork to make that whole relation, make the dream work.
Make that dream work.
Absolutely.
And she is truly a helpmate.
Absolutely.
We'll have her on next month, and then we'll bring you two back together where we can talk about relationship.
Okay.
As you were growing up, it has been said, what you do as a child is a preview of a coming attraction, just like when you go to the movies. So what causes this curiosity or this drive or desire to be a realtor?
Well, I love that question, Dr. K. When I was teenager, living in upstate New York and then moving to Texas, in my spare time I would run around to vacant houses. My buddies and I would drive around the neighborhood, find the vacant house, go check it out, and I was always fascinated by it. I love looking at houses. So it's not a job for me. It's fun. Every time I experience the opportunity to be with someone, help them find their dream home, it's a natural for me.
So you're living your dream.
Yes.
A lot of people do not live their dream.
Yes.
Speak to that.
Wow. Well, a lot of people chase money, and we want to be successful, and, sometimes people define success by how much money they make or what car they have or what home they have. But I used to be in the medical field for 10 years, and I've seen a lot of doctors, for example, that are doing very well financially, still unhappy.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, you have to find your passion, find your dream, and chase that. And then it's not work. It becomes just fun. And when you're doing that at your best, using your strengths, then everything else happens.
I just wanted to piggyback on what you said and give a sports analogy. There may be various sports teams. They may not have a winning track record, but they're having fun.
Yes.
And it's about the sportsmanship,
Camaraderie.
the camaraderie, and having that attitude.
Yes.
Now, if we can put up your slide with your logo and your branding, and tell us a little bit about the Bartholomew Real Estate Group, buying, selling, investing, wealth creation, and legacy. By the way, I forgot to say what the topic is today. Is real estate, wealth, legacy. And the two are mutually inclusive.
Yes.
All right, so tell us about Bartholomew Real Estate Group.
Bartholomew Real Estate Group is a full-time, full-purpose real estate group that focuses on you as the client. My goal with each and every client is to make the process of purchasing real estate or selling real estate fast, professional, and hassle-free. There are a lot of pitfalls, as most of us know, in either buying or selling real estate. And the ones that assume that it's easy, and the cliche is, you realtors just make a lot of money. You just drive around and you show a house and then you collect 6%. Oh, really? It's a lot more work than that. There's a couple hundred things that a realtor does to facilitate the process. But in a nutshell, it is essential to have someone such as myself that is knowledgeable in an area, that is knowledgeable in negotiations, that is working on your behalf. By default, did you know in the state of Texas, by default, a realtor works for the seller? So if you're driving around and you see that great, amazing house, and you call on that sign, and you speak to that agent, and he says, yeah, come, I'll show it to you. his fiduciary responsibility is to get you into that house by all means and not disclose certain things to you. Now, he has to be fair, but there are a lot of things that you need to know. And without having someone representing you, it would kind of like going to court and you're being sued and you have no representation.
Well, give us some helpful tips. There may be some first-time home buyers out there. Are there any loans, or what would you have to do for qualification? Is credit score very important?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So first-time home buyers, I love working with first-time home buyers because the passion, the ability to help a family achieve their goals. Like, for example, I met a
dream is really a dream.
Their dream, yeah, absolutely. They may have a young one. I had a family, for example, that had a little baby girl, and then they had one on the way. And they met me like June and said, well, we want to get in the house by November, by the time this baby is born. I said, well, okay, I can help facilitate that. If that's your dream, that is my goal to make that happen. Now, there are steps in the process, and my goal is to assist you, hold your hand through those steps, make you aware of things that can happen. Therefore, you're not surprised or blindsided. One of the first things you need to do is check your finances. Many don't do that. You need to get pre-approved. Pre-qualified and pre-approved, two different things. They sound similar, but pre-qualified just means, I say I make $100,000. But what's your debt look like? So yes, someone can say, your debt ratio. Exactly. Right? You make $100,000, but if your debt and expenses is like you need to make $120,000, that's a problem. So the first thing is really to get your finances in order. Therefore, if you're looking at a house at $350,000, for example, and you put X amount down, how much is that mortgage going to be? Can you qualify for that? So now your posture is very different. When we go to look at houses, we're going to stay in your range, and you're comfortable. When we see that right house, we can make a decision on that house right away instead of, oh my God, I don't know if I can qualify, and then we meet a pitfall, and then we miss that dream house. Wow. Does that make sense?
And it busts the bubble in a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Let me go back. I was in the military, served for about 22 years, 25 really, when I did my inactive reserve while I was going to seminary. And my first duty station as a chaplain, I was in Wichita, Kansas, and we saw this house. And we went through that process, the pre-qualified.
Yes.
But my realtor did everything to get me into that house. And then my credit score was not the greatest, but that's where that professionalism came in.
Yes.
And then also there were other people were wondering, how did I get that house? And I just really felt like I said, I'm God's favorite child. And so many people.
That's important too.
So many people, Brian, they despised me.
Yes.
Because I got that house. We stayed in that house. We went to other bases. I kept that house as an investment. Got a good realtor, someone that didn't want to buy because he had already had another house. He liked the neighborhood. It's been said the mantra of real estate is location, location, location. I want you to explain to that the whys of that. But let me tell you about this house, Brian. He stayed in for 4 years. It appreciated in value. And I went to a realtor because we wanted to sell. And you were talking about that 6%. And then that's the seller. And then he worked for me. And then whoever the buyer has a realtor, you have that two-prong, that two-sided.
Correct.
Correct.
Coin. In most cases, in 99%.
And then some people go about it without a realtor.
True.
Is there anything that's made from them? You can answer that. But let me tell you what happened to this house. I said I want to go with a reputable real estate group or firm. And I was given a recommendation to go to this particular group or firm. And the realtor that represented me said this, I will sell this house in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And therefore, I made a $20,000 profit. It was a win-win for everybody. the buyer, realtor, made money,
Everyone
and
made
also
money.
the seller. Explain that concept. Why is that?
Wow.
And talk about that appreciation, and why is it important that you are in a right place, location.
That's a compound complex question, Dr. K. There's a lot of information there. Let me try and unpack that. Number one, you mentioned about buying a house, and I will tell people, houses are expensive, especially right now. Okay, and the key is you may not be able to purchase your dream home right now, but let me tell you why it's important to buy a home right now. For the exact reason you just said. Appreciation, equity. Okay? So it may not be the ideal home that you can afford right now, but versus renting, you're throwing money away. You're paying someone else's mortgage when you're renting. So I tell all my clients, look, I don't care if it's a little shack. Whatever you can afford to buy it. You know why? Because of what you just said. In a few years, it's going to appreciate. And the big mistake right now with people, yes, the interest rates are higher than what we used to have, at 2 and 3%. We were spoiled with that. But guess what? At 7, 6.5, 6 3/4 to 7, those rates, when I bought my house 20 years ago, that's what the rate was. And back in the day when my parents bought a house, it was 17 and 18%.
Wow, that's
So,
high.
so relatively speaking,
Astronomically high.
relatively speaking, the rates are still not bad. Here's why it's even more important to buy now versus waiting, because many people are on the fence. I'm going to wait till the rate goes down. Because of supply and demand and location, right? What happens when you don't have enough inventory on something? Price goes up. Do you see anything going down? Gas is going up. Even though we have supply, it's still going up. Food, clothing, everything's going up. Doesn't come back down. What am I saying here? It is time to buy something now. Whatever you can afford, do it now. Because guess what? In a few years, it's going to appreciate in value, and they're going to make probably more than 20 grand. Because in Houston, the average rate of appreciation was 3% a year before this stuff came along. Now you're looking at 15, 20% in a year in some locations, some neighborhoods. So my suggestion, buy now. And guess what? I work with lenders that within the next 5 years, if the interest rate goes down, you can refinance at no charge.
Wow. Let me ask you this. Speaking about the interest rate going up, in 2008, the bottom fell out of real estate.
Yes.
And some people lost everything.
Yes.
But yet still some people survive and some people thrive. Why
Yes.
was that?
Oh, I love that question. Well, first of all, 2008, 2009, I was doing very well. And my wife was at home for 8 years. We had kids and we traveled, did this, that, and the other. Very successful. And then everybody knows about that fallout. Now, here's what happened. Depending on which side of the coin, it's a good opportunity. If you were an investor, that's the time you wanted to acquire property because you can get it was like a fire sale. Everything was cheap. The reason why it occurred and the reason why it's different then than now is people were in homes that they really should not have been. The loans, the mortgage situation, there was a particular company, and we used to joke about it, that if you were breathing, you can get a home. The qualification, you can stated income, stated assets. I make $250,000. I have XYZ in assets. Okay, here's your loan. You didn't really make that. So when it came time to making those payments, you couldn't afford it. Hence foreclosure. But the bank was in on it, the title company was in on it, the appraiser was in on it, the insurance company, everybody was in on it, and that's why it caused that crash.
Wow.
Today, it's very different. Today,
Regulations?
there are regulations.
Wow.
So to get into a home and a loan, they're going to check up to that day of closing. I tell people, don't buy anything, don't put anything on layaway, freeze, pay off, do what the lender tells you to do. Because guess what? They're going to check through the process, and they are going to verify every step of the way.
All right, they put up the title Real Estate Wealth and Legacy, and we're winding down now.
Okay.
And what's in vogue now is Airbnb.
Yes.
How can that be a wealth accumulation asset?
Wow, this is a passion of mine. This is my exit strategy. Passive income, retiring. Do you know what passive income is? Think about this. How about you go to sleep, you wake up, and you're making money. You're on vacation, you're making money. Okay, no matter what. That means regardless of what you're doing, money, checks are coming in. That's retirement. Okay, that's legacy. That's something you can pass down. How do we create this? Okay, Airbnbs is one of the best tools to do that, because that means you can acquire a property and you can short-term rent it, whether it's 30 days, a day or 2 or 3 for a fee. You're kind of like a hotel, your own private hotel. Okay, but the best part is if your mortgage is $2,000 a month and you're bringing in $4,000 in rental at 70 to 80% occupancy, that's $2,000 or maybe $1,500 positive cash flow a month. What if you had 10 of those? That's $15,000 a month.
Now, you were talking about foreclosures, and then also there's this flipping business.
Yes.
About 1 minute, for 1 minute, talk about that, because I want to learn how to flip houses and make some money.
If you want to learn how to do that like Dr. K, then hey, you got to reach out to me. But real quick, on flipping is when you can buy a property at the right price. You make money when you buy, Dr. K, not when you sell.
Okay.
Listen to that. You make money when you buy.
Wow. Let's repeat that. Look in that camera and tell that person, now is the time. You make money when you buy.
Now is the time. You make money when you buy. What do you mean, Brian, by that? You have to buy right. How many of us have seen that we buy ugly houses, cash for your house? They're not going to give you 100% on your dollar. They're going to give you 50 to 70% on a dollar. Why? Because your home may need a new roof. It needs all this repairs and things, and you can't afford to do it. So they have to factor in the cost of the repairs and still have at least 20%. That's the margin of profit that most investors want. So hence, when you do flipping, you have to buy it right. If you buy it at 70% of value and you've got to put, 30% more into it, you're in an upside down situation. That's not a good investment. So I help people to buy right. Therefore, you have a winning investment portfolio.
Well, I'm sold with Bartholomew Group. Well, let's put your contact information up there.
That's what we do.
Because I'm sure they say, come on, Dr. K, get on. There he is, Brian Bartholomew. And leave it up for a few moments so that they can be able to capture this. So many times people try to write things down. Just take your iPhone and snap that picture.
Call
Facebook,
me anytime.
Brian,
Text
and
me.
also, what is that? Is that LinkedIn?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
LinkedIn.
yes, LinkedIn.
And is there a telephone number that our viewers can call?
Oh, yes, I'm old school. I love phone calls, and my number is 281. That's 281-772-6608. Again, 281-772-6608. Call me, text me, let me know you saw this on YouTube. You saw
On
me
Keep It
hanging
Real.
on
Keep It Real TV.
Keep It Real with Dr. K. And I'd love to help you. My passion is helping see each and every one of my clients become successful.
Now, I don't get anything from anybody that view Keep It Real and
Except for the tips.
All right, Brian. We're going to let you give a call to action here in a moment. But I would like to know this. How long is Realtor School? And how do you become certified?
That's a great question. There's a great school that I went to that I meet so many agents that come from there that are super successful. They have many locations in Houston. It's Champion School of Real Estate. That's where I went, and they have locations around the city. But the thing about them, they are passionate and have been educating realtors for many, many years. And I love that school. They would train you on how to do things right. There are 5 classes now that you have to take. So depending on in person or online, there are many methods. Some people do it at night. You can do it at your own pace. But if you do it in class, you can finish them in a couple of months.
Okay, about 3 months?
Yeah, if you're aggressive, or you can stretch it out, just depends on your timeline.
Is it a lucrative business, or is it contingent upon the market?
It's contingent upon you.
Okay.
Because, you have to market yourself. You have to be a people person. You have to network. You have to communicate. And you have to have a passion for helping people. There are a lot of agents out there that do it passively, and they're not really motivated. If you're motivated and passionate about it, you can become successful.
Well, let's give us a call to action. And we want to put some praxis to real estate, wealth, and legacy. What would you say to those that would like to get started, to accumulate wealth, to leave an inheritance and a legacy to their children's children, like the Bible says in Proverbs, down to the 4th generation?
Well, I think
1 minute message.
That's the goal at the end of the day. When you think about your family, when you think about legacy, I think about that. We have 5 kids, and my goal is really to leave this place and give them an opportunity better than what I had. If you have that similar type of goal and passion, real estate is one of the best ways to do that, simply because over time, the property appreciates, okay? So if you think that you may be interested about something like this and you'd like to just chat, no pressure, call me, text me. I'll be happy to meet with you, and I'll keep it real.
All right.
Discuss the opportunities and make it happen for you.
All right.
If that's your
Put
dream.
back up his social media contact one last time. We normally give our guests a gift, and I forgot to bring it up, but on the way out, and I like to present it on the set, but I'll give it to you. Definitely will have something for you and your wife, but I do have a gift for you, something you can use in your profession. And therefore, we want to thank you for being our special guest.
Thank you so much.
And I pray that people call you, and we want to say success to you, and everything that you put your hand on, may it be a Midas touch.
Well, Dr. K, I appreciate you. I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be a part of your show today, and blessings to you and those that you touch as well.
All right. What decision plans have you made to fulfill your dream? What action step will you take to achieve your dream? When will you start? JFK, our president, said, if not now, when? If not you, who? And if not here, where? And then the Booker T. Washington, that great abolitionist, educator, also mentor and politician, activist, said that it was said about him, he lifted the veil of ignorance from his people, and he pointed them towards education and industry. And I want to give a plug for the real estate industry. You heard it, that the buyer makes the money. And Brian today has shown you the money, and you can keep it real. And therefore, on that note, keep it real, and you can contact us if you would like to be a sponsor of any program. It's a really nominal cost. We air your services and your businesses. Keep It Real TV on YouTube. Our telephone number 346-813-0222, and then email us KEEPITREALTV49@gmail.com. Yes, Lady Joy will be back for the next 2 sessions. I know y'all just tolerate me, but until then, keep it real.